Mr. Robinson, Gavin, can I get a couple of questions? So what's your message to the community right now, the people that are coming out and other people are coming out around Belfast?
I think it's important for me to be here because it's important to engage with people. In my local, this is my community too. This is where I live. So I have no difficulty coming and engaging and having a discussion. But more importantly, and I think it's good tonight that you can see that there's an atmosphere which is entirely peaceful and entirely lawful and entirely appropriate to protest if you're unhappy about issues. So I think that's important because the point that I had to make last week was that you cannot raise issues of concern when there's violence in the streets. Yes. So I'm proud to be here tonight to see that it is a peaceful demonstration.
Thank you for coming out. So what's your attitude? The government keep pushing out the far-right racist the rhetoric that anybody comes out?
It doesn't work. I had this conversation in Westminster yesterday that for as long as you demean people, you dismiss people and you shut them down, frustration grows. We have to be able to have a respectful discussion about issues of concern. And if you can't, then concern grows in most unhelpful ways. So it doesn't help name calling, it doesn't help smearing, it doesn't help besmirching in the same way it didn't help last week to have violence. Right? So you need to be able to have these conversations in a respectful way and an evidence-based way too. In the same way that 2 years ago we could talk in 2023 asylum seeker statistics in the whole of the UK. Belfast was the second highest council in the whole of the UK for numbers. Right? It's not today, it's fifth, but it's still high. And so whenever people dismiss it and say it's very small, then let's have that evidence-based discussion and the impact that has within our local community.
One last question. How do we control our borders when they're coming? So we've had the alleged incident in Ballymena, and we've had an unalive in Belfast a couple of years ago, and the suspect was found in Dublin. How do we stop? Because we're stuck in the middle of some serious mass immigration that's going on in England and Ireland coming through the EU. We're stuck in the middle with no borders. How do we control that? How do we stop these men coming into our country?
So you can only do it by proper immigration controls, right?
Do we have that control but to do that?
So we have immigration controls in our ports. We don't have them on the border. And then, so it's immigration controls and immigration checks. There are over 1,000 immigration checks in our airports and seaports within Northern Ireland by the Home Office in the last 2 years. So those checks are happening.
Can I just correct you? So I've travelled from Scotland to England to Ireland. I go to the demos. I'm trying to reach out to the Irish people as well. Just trying to make friends. And there's nobody's getting asked for ID on these ports. There's nobody getting asked.
That's not right. You're not. But there are immigration checks in Northern Ireland. There are immigration checks in our airports and seaports. And
that's good to know.
It's BT3, so it's a Stena Line terminal, and it's Belfast City Airport, and it's Crumlin are the three hotspot areas. So they are doing checks in those airports and seaports. Is it all that needs to be done? No, it's not. But there needs to be control of a system, and there needs to be control of our ports.
Thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you so much, sir. So that's Mr. Robinson, who's came down to support the people. That's all we can say, you know what I mean? And we've got to accept that. We've got to understand that there is politicians on our side asking some difficult questions. I feel the borders are open. He's saying that there is a border control coming from England and Scotland. Maybe it's through photograph, through the cameras. They're watching who's coming through. I haven't seen it. I've been to Ireland, back to Ireland, buses, coaches, no ID. People are coming and going freely, but at least the awareness is being made now. And this is a big step for Northern Ireland. We now have politicians coming out and supporting us. So we've got to understand that. Let's give them a chance. Let's give these men a chance. Because, I think they've seen what's going on in England and they see what's going on in Scotland. And I don't think our politicians and our PSNI are going to let that happen here. And these men and women, these grannies, granddads, mothers, fathers, aunties, uncles are not going to let it happen in Northern Ireland. And that's all I'm going to say, guys. We're just going to roll with this. And big round of applause for these guys. Amazing coming out here. And we're not far right. We're not racist. We're concerned parents of what we see. 800,000 children in England. How did they get away with that? How did they silence? How was our men being left to take children away in their cars? Why was there social work at marriages of 15-year-old children? That's because of the two-tier